I'll be demonstrating how to make a tassel out of yarn. First step is to cut a piece of cardboard that is the height that you want the tassel to be. You don't need to worry too much about the width, but this is the height of my proposed tassel. So I'll take my yarn and I'm going to leave just a little bit extra hanging here. And then holding on, just kind of securing it here with my thumb, I'm going to wrap the yarn around the cardboard like so, kind of overlapping about 50 to 60 times. And that depends on the thickness of your yarn, how wide or full you would like your tassel to be. So as you can see, you're going to be going around so many times that it does use a lot of yarn, and you may want to make your tassels before the knitting. So let me grab a piece that I have already wrapped about 60 times around my piece of cardboard, so you can see it's nice and full. And then here, this yarn that is attached to my ball, I'm going to cut it, and it's okay to have that a little bit long. So then the next step is we need to cut a piece of yarn that is probably about 3 times the height of that. So, maybe 18 inches or so, depending on what you're hoping, however long your tassel is. Then I'm going to take this extra piece of yarn I just cut, and I'm going to go underneath all of those wraps and trying to fish that through, making sure I get under all of them. And then I'm going to tie a knot here at the top, trying to keep that kind of even. So right here at the top, and then the knot I'm going to make, sorry, I have to keep pushing this around. I'm going to just do just a plain old overhand kind of knot right here at the top, and I'm going to make it nice and tight. And I'm going to do that, 2 or 3 times, just so that's nice and secure. So there we go. There's 2 times, and I'll do it a 3rd time. I see it spinning around here for good measure. All right. So now I have those tails, and this is what we will eventually attach to our piece. So now I need to cut my tassel. So here's where the knotted end is, and now I'm going to cut. So down here where I started wrapping at the bottom of my cardboard, I'm going to try to cut as close to this edge as I can. So it's nice to have good sharp scissors and cut through all the thicknesses, hanging on to that. So now we have our tassel is now free from the cardboard. Here's my tails. So the next step is to cut another piece of yarn where we're going to wrap it around our tassel. So this time I'm going to cut a piece of yarn that is nice and long again. So, 18 inches or so works just fine. And then we're going to wrap it around the strands here of the tassel about as deep as you want that top ball of the tassel. And you're going to leave a good sized tail hanging here, so about half of the yarn. And I like to go about 1 inch or so from the top, and I'm going to wrap around very tightly 3 times. So there was 1, 2, and 3. Once I have that done, this tail that I had at the beginning, not the top tail, but this tail when I started wrapping around, I'm going to use those 2 ends and tie that just like I did at the top, nice and tightly. So there you went around once. Sorry, this guy keeps spinning here. I'll put my finger on here so we can really get that secure. There we go. Okay, so I just tied that little knot here. So a nice fat little tassel here, and it's ready to go onto my piece. So let me grab my shawl here that I'm going to attach it to. And I'm going to put it, let's just say we're going to put it into this little knot here that's at the end. So these tails that I cut at the very beginning, I'm going to thread those onto a tapestry needle. Get both of those strands in there. And then I'm going to to figure out where I actually want that tassel. And for me, I think I'll just scoot it into this little point here. So I'm going to take my tapestry needle and go through that point. And you can see it just kind of pulls the tassel up to where I want it. And now once I've gone through my piece, I'm going to take my tapestry needle and I'm going to go through the center of the top part, this kind of ball part of the tassel. And I'm just going to come in through here and out the other side. It doesn't have to be, you know, exactly through, but give that a nice tug there. And then we're going to do the same thing again. So go back into that same spot here where you went in the first time with this tapestry needle. Pull the working yarn through again, or those tails I should say. Go through the center one more time. So now our tassel is nice and secure into the top. And then I'm going to take these tails and I'm going to go underneath the little tie that I made here up at the top. And I can just come in under that and fish that out. So you don't want to pull that real tight. So I'm going to leave those long tails hanging. And now I'm going to return to this knot here that I made. So we need to bury these tails. So once again, I'm going to thread them onto, I'm going to trim that a bit. And I'm going to thread just to get these two tails even. And I'm going to put them again onto my tapestry needle. And I want to secure these two tails. So what I'm going to do is, you can see I have this knot here that we made. I'm going to go over the wrap that I made here, and then back around, kind of over it. And you can see it hides that knot that I made. And I'm going to do that 2 times. So again, I'm going to go over there, kind of over these wraps, over the top of the wrap, and come through the bottom and pull that nice and tight. So now everything is nice and secure. So the last thing that we need to do is just trim our tails. So you just get your scissors and kind of give it a nice little haircut there, trimming the ends. And there you have a little tassel. Happy knitting!